Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops at Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. Just want to go into a lesson, and I'm probably going to entitle it, This Time is Different. And this is based upon an article, that I came across, which this is from the sfist.com. And the title reads, San Francisco was declared dead and full of AIDS and drugs and homeless people multiple times in the last 50 years. And when you read, the whole article, basically, they saying this is nothing new. San Francisco has always, gone through these different bouts. Somebody always saying that, the city's done, it's dead, it's a failed state. So what's going on now pretty much is nothing new. But hey, this time is different. All right. Like the title of the video, man. This ain't like those other times. All right. Because you got a lot of things going on outside of just what's going on in San Francisco. OK, San Francisco is completely through, is done. But this is happening all over the country. OK, and you have other factors at play that shows you that this is completely different. All right. This ain't like those times, man. This ain't like the 80s. This ain't like the 90s. OK, this ain't like the 70s. All right. This is Babylon's last run as a whole. OK, which Babylon includes San Francisco. So I'm going to read a little bit of the article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, and then we're going to hit the scriptures. And Esau likes to give that hope out, man. OK, yeah, we're going to keep going. Well, the scriptures say, let me bring this out real quick. Esau trying to keep hope alive, man. There ain't no hope for you Edomites, man. There ain't no hope for Babylon. Okay, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is going to destroy this place, man. This is Psalms 49:11. It says their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. So Esau think he gonna always be in rulership, man. He thinks that he's always gonna be on the tip top. Just like with this article, it's a perfect example of that mentality that Esau has, man. See, San Francisco's been, called dead and doomed, multiple times in the past 50 years. And look, it's still here. All right. But again, going back to the title of the video, this time is different. All right. We ain't in those times no more, man. OK, we in the year 2023. All right. The hopeful year that all the prophecies of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai fulfill. And San Francisco is a completely different place, man. Babylon is a completely different place. OK, you got all kind of wickedness taking place out here that's not going to go unchecked by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. It says their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own name. So Esau is proud. This is it's nothing new. OK, so we just going, stay here. We're going to roll with it. And eventually San Francisco going to bounce back like it always has. Well, the flag for San Francisco is a phoenix rising from the ashes, and if you know anything about phoenixes, you ever looked it up, it's a mythical creature, which basically it dies, it burns to death. OK, but out of those ashes, the phoenix is born again. All right. So that's the, symbol of San Francisco. It burns down and then it always comes back up. But hey, again, this time is different, man. All right. San Francisco is completely done. All right. The things that's going on now have never taken place before in this city. The things that are happening are unprecedented. OK, you got all these, stores leaving. OK, the homeless population is really out of control. And then the crime is out of control. All right. And the quality of life is out of control. And then what's happening? These politicians, they partying. They have no intentions on trying to make anything better for you people. OK, and then you got your cost of living going up. Your wages are stagnant. All right. So this time is different. OK, so let's get to the article. This came out July 7th. So yesterday. It says the local and national news media has loved to declare San Francisco in a state of decline or crisis on many occasions in the last 5 or so decades. So this is just a primer for everyone who wasn't aware of that and bought into the failed city and doom loop narratives too hard, which, hey, this ain't a doom loop, okay? And it's not a narrative, it's the reality, man, okay? Not only is San Francisco through, all of Babylon is through, America's done, okay? You go up and down the West Coast, man, you go to Oregon, you go to Washington, those cities are in the same state that San Francisco was in, okay? You go down to SoCal, LA, it's in the same state that San Francisco was in. So obviously this is not a one-off situation, man, okay? But Esau, he likes to, believe that this is just, it's just another, part of, this is just a part of ups and downs, it's going to bounce back and we're going to be good again, okay? It says drugs, crime, homelessness, offices vacant, AIDS everywhere, people randomly shot on the street. These have all been parts of news segments and broader narratives about San Francisco going back to the 1970s at least. And back in the 60s, you would have heard a lot of complaints about hippies and runaways overrunning the formerly quaint Haight-Ashbury. California native Joan Didion, who had aged out of the hippie era, wrote a famous essay about the dark side of the summer of love that's titled Slouching Toward Bethlehem. Okay, it says the 1970s. The 1970s were dark enough time in San Francisco that writer David Talbot wrote a whole book about it, Seasons of the Witch. Talbot touches on stories like the People's Temple in Jonestown, the Zodiac Killer and the Zebra Killings, in which 4 African-American men were ultimately convicted in the racially motivated shooting of random white people on the streets of the city between 1973 and 1974. 14 were killed, 8 were injured. That was 50 years ago, and murder rates around the country were spiking. The New York Times ran a piece in August 1973, noting that the murder rate among black people was 8 times that of the rate of white residents. Serial rapists and murderers like the Zodiac, the Hillside Strangler, and the Golden State Killer were also regular fixtures of the nightly news in the Bay Area in the 1970s. It was a time of urban chaos all over the place, which contributed to the popularity of Law and Order, Grandpa Ronald Reagan and his election in 1980. All right, I'm going to skip over this. It's going into the 80s. Basically, the same thing was going on. You had that same narrative being pushed out. And then there's a video here, which Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai willing, I'm going to put it in a post-production.
Crisis of confidence in what used to be America's most confident city. Its scenic skyline is becoming a facade, hiding empty offices. In 5 years, one estimate says, 30,000 jobs have disappeared. Many lost as corporate headquarters move elsewhere. San Franciscans are noted for their tolerance, but they have been intolerant to what's often called progress, partly because San Francisco is now known for AIDS as well as for cable cars.
Well, I think San Francisco ain't going to the dogs in every way.
Okay, basically, backing up his claim that this is just, something that happens to San Francisco, So we're going to jump down to the end of the article, the 2000 and the 2010s. It says, and there was, of course, the dot-com bust of 2001, when many younger people who had flocked to the city to work in tech were suddenly out of jobs. That led to empty office buildings. And it took at least 3 years before the city felt like it had recovered from that, which would have been a couple years before Web 2.0 companies like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube popped up. In 2002, the Chronicle wrote about how homelessness remained the city's #1 political issue, and then Supervisor Gavin Newsom had put his Care Not Cash initiative on the ballot, which was later approved by voters. With the homeless population more visible than ever, city residents and shocked tourists have expressed their frustrations to hotel owners, the mayor, and the media about aggressive panhandlers, people urinating and defecating in public and eating from trash cans, the Chronicle wrote in 2002, which when you read in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, you done had this going on. All right. You done had people actually defecating on the street to this extent. All right. They used to have public restrooms out here which they closed those down, So these people, they go wherever they want to. Okay. And then another factor you got to key in is the drugs, man. All right. Now, in the 80s, you had the crack, which was mainly affecting Jake. Esau wasn't on crack cocaine, you know. But now what you got going on is this fentanyl crisis, which that's hitting Esau. All right, so it's further breaking your society down. See, the circumstances are different from back in the day. Okay, those past 50 years, or let's say those past 40 years, they not like what's going on today, man. All right, but since these people don't have the eyesight, they can't see what's really going on. They got hope for the future, man. But hey, America's done, and San Francisco was done. There was plenty of outcry about empty storefronts and depressed retail on SF Street before the pandemic. And that is, of course, worse now, though some neighborhoods are doing fine. There was also talk in 2019 about conventions leaving the city, like Oracle's Open World, which announced it was decamping to Vegas before the start of the pandemic. Okay, which that should have been a key indicator that this time is different. All right. It says, here's a piece from 2009 about San Francisco's last major economic downturn before the pandemic, when the Great Recession hit here a little later than the rest of the country. 2009 is shaping up to be a challenge year, said Dan Golds of the San Francisco Convention and Visitors Bureau. Between the economy in the U.S. being sort of rocky shoals and the economy in other countries being on rocky shoals, that has a pretty big impact on international visitation to San Francisco. San Francisco has survived earlier downturns, from the Great Depression of the 1930s, the dot-com crash of 2001. The 2009 piece concludes, a century ago, the city was almost leveled by a great earthquake and fire. It bounced back fairly quickly, and people here say San Francisco today remains resilient. And that's the mentality that these people have, man. And not only is this a mentality that these people here in San Francisco have, this is the mentality that these, proud Americans share as a whole. All right. But again, this time is different. All right. Just like it mentioned earlier in the article, there's a global economic downturn, man. And this has never happened before. OK, this is unprecedented. So why you think you got, economic downturn happening throughout the whole world, that San Francisco's, somehow going to bounce back, man? It says, and let's not forget that when we aren't in nadir-like bus time, San Francisco is also criticized for being too clean, sanitized, and rich. I'll leave you with this 2018 piece from Harper's, which isn't about San Francisco, it's about New York, titled The Death of a Once Great American City. The piece is primarily about how gentrification, unaffordability, and general affluence has slowly deprived New York of its eclectic, creative, grittier character. For the first time in its history, New York is, boring, writes longtime New York resident Kevin Baker, calling the city the world's largest gated community. By similar comparisons, he writes, San Francisco is overrun by tech conjurers who are rapidly annihilating its remarkable diversity. They swarm in and out of the metropolis in specially chartered buses to work in Silicon Valley, using the city itself as a gigantic bed and breakfast. Lots of those same tech conjurers have either fled to Austin or Miami, or they pivoted whatever they were doing into AI. So time to write the next chapter then. Which, hey, like I said, this time is different. You got all kind of things taking place down here, man, that's affecting San Francisco. All right. And not just San Francisco. This applies to America as a whole. All right. This is 2 Ezra 9:1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, which the way you measure the time diligently is you link up the prophecies with what's going on in the world. Okay. It says, and when thou seest part of the signs past, the signs of the prophecies, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And according to the prophecies, you look at what's going on, we that much closer to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai visiting this earth, man. Okay. Those past times where they announced San Francisco as dead, that, hey, it's different now. Okay. Because what you got happening behind closed doors, man. You got the economic collapse happening. The supply chain's been messed up. Okay. Well, they got it's a hot sauce that they make out here in California. It's called sriracha. People put it on pretty much everything. Okay, the price of that has skyrocketed to about $50 a bottle, man. Used to be like $2, $3. You go to the store. The reason why the price has gone up is because their supply chain is messed up. Okay, so they gotta up their price just to break even. All right, that's unprecedented, man. You got gas prices sky high. Okay, rent is sky high. The cost of living is sky high, and what else is another factor? Your wages are stagnant. Okay, so this place has never been in a situation like this. This ain't like the 80s. This ain't like the 70s, the 90s. Okay, the early 2000s. Okay, this time is different, man. We in a time that Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to judge America, aka Babylon the Great. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, you got this going on at an all-time high, man. Okay, protests breaking out all throughout the world. Okay, earthquakes, the intensity of the earthquakes are increasing along with the frequency, man. Okay, so that's how we know that this time is different. All right. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an and the end is manifest. So you can see the signs, man. Okay, which, by the way, that word manifest means to be made apparent. If you can't see that San Francisco is through, then you through. All right. If you can't see that Babylon is through, then you through. Okay, the Most High got it set up where you gonna go down with the ship. Okay, because anybody with eyes can see that what's going on in San Francisco and what's going on in America is on a completely different scale than anything that has taken place in the past, man. Okay, you got this transformer agenda that's being pushed heavily. Okay, well, they're getting ready to try to pass a bill out here in California that says if your child, your son or your daughter, they want to change their gender, somebody tells them that they are the opposite gender, and they come to you and tell you that they're a girl or they're a boy, and you deny them, you tell them that that's not true, they could take your child away from you, man, and put them in foster care. All right. So, hey, this time is different. Okay. The wickedness is great out here, man. And this wickedness is not going to go unchecked by Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. It says, even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and ending in effects and signs. And the signs are all around us, man. Okay. And it's evident that, hey, this time is different. Okay. Your money ain't worth as much as it used to be. That's another indicator, man. And that affects you people here in San Francisco more than almost anybody else in the country. Okay, the cost of living here is astronomical, man. Okay, you got to have what? Minimum, you got to make at least $35 an hour just to afford a 1-bedroom apartment here, man. The minimum wage in San Francisco is probably like what? It's went up in the past. It's probably maybe like $18, $19, maybe more than that. Okay, but the minimum wage here, you working a job, getting paid that rate, you can't even live in the city. You got to shack up with a whole bunch of people. You're going to have hella roommates, man. Okay, well, that just shows you that this time is different. All right, this is Zephaniah 1:11. It says, how ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off. Okay, and Maktesh was a merchant city back in the ancient world. Okay, all they that bear silver are cut off. Is going to be an economic collapse. Man, you can see it taking place. All right, the reason why all these businesses are closed down, the reason why people are leaving, okay, the reason why there ain't no jobs out here, that's because we are in the economic collapse, man. And the elites, what are they doing? They're preparing for the new system to be implemented. All right. So you can see the signs that this time is different, man. This ain't like them other times. San Francisco ain't going to bounce back. Okay. Because Babylon ain't going to bounce back. All right. And that main prophecy that's getting ready to be implemented, that's going to change the game completely, is that, the Haragma, man, the subdermal device. This is Revelation 13 and 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, which that mark is talking about, the sea hip. All right. Which they're going to put in each and every single individual down here. Okay. You're going to have this subdermal device if you want to participate in society. But before the mark comes in, okay, before the Haragma comes in, they're going to collapse the economy, man. Okay. So they ain't going to bounce back. It ain't going, San Francisco booming again. We're in a full-blown economic collapse, man. And when these elites collapse this economy, there's going to be nothing but chaos out in the streets. Okay, the things that you see taking place now, they're going to be exacerbated in that day, man. They're going to ramp up. Okay, the killings are going to increase. All right. People going to be starving out here, man. And you already have that taking place on a low level. All right. This whole, the pandemic, which was really a shutdown of the economy. Okay. Basically what they were doing, they were halting a collapse. And they, gave all kind of bailouts. They hit you people with them stimulus checks, and you couldn't push that money into circulation, quickly because you was at home. As if they allowed that money to get into circulation, quicker than, it was able to during the shutdown, then the prices would have went up quicker than they going up now. All right. And that pandemic was pretty much the beginning of the end. Okay. That's when you seen that a real heavy push towards implementing that beast system. Everybody was really encouraged to go contactless during the pandemic. Okay. To, mitigate the spread of disease, quote unquote. That was the reason that he gave. But that's this damn devil's MO anyway. Okay. But the point is, for the MOTB system to be implemented, this current system has to collapse. And that's what you see taking place. Okay, this ain't just, something that America's gone through. You go through your ups and downs. No, we're in a full-blown economic collapse, okay, of not only the United States, but really the world. Okay, if you pay attention to what's going on, in these other countries, they got economic downturns as well. This is verse 17. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And we are that much closer to this prophecy being fulfilled. Which this is, the top prophecy that we watching for. Okay, and that's how we know that we are that much closer to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai making his return down here to the earth, the Heavenly Father visiting this place. Okay, so the things that's taking place out here in San Francisco is taking place in Seattle, in Portland, in LA, okay, in these different cities around the country. Okay, this ain't just, part of the ups and downs of the economy. All right, this time is different. We in a time where Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is getting ready to visit the earth. So I just wanted to go into that. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai willing. It was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Yahweh HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops at Great Millstone. Shalom.